Everybody, welcome to the Meno Lounge. I'm Julie Gordon-White, CEO of MenoWell, Menopause Energy and Protein Bars. And heads up, Black Friday is coming next week. And guess what? Don't tell anybody. Just kidding. Tell everybody. BOGO! BOGO. We're going to have 2 for 1 on our site only. But if you want to buy on Amazon, you can get 20% off there. But the 2 for 1 is all on our site. So you can get 1, 2, 4, the whole thing. It's going to be amazing. And if you get 2 boxes, you're going to get free shipping. It is the best deal on the planet. You can always stock up, freeze, all the good things. So let's bring on our guests. Let's see. Okay, I see Stacey's coming up here. And Stacey. And let's see April. Let me see April. Let me grab. We're going to do something fun. Hey, Allison, we're going to have 4 on today. This is going to be fun. Hi, Stacey. Okay, let me grab April. This is always the fun part. All right.
We're all here.
You're all here? Well, 3 of 4, right? Isn't April joining us?
April is joining us. I think she's waiting.
Okay. All right. Let me grab her. There she is. I see her now. Fingers crossed. The Instagram tech gods are on our side. I think so. How are things going in New Jersey? Oh, here she comes. Here she comes.
Yay! Here we are. Oh, look, we get to see each other also. And I get to see you again. It's nice to see you.
It's so fun. It's so fun. The last time we did a 4 person was when we did our team holiday party on live. So I was like, okay, Laura, is this going to work? She's like, yes, we did this before. I'm like, okay. Well, I'm super excited to have all of you from Team Not Your Mother's Menopause, New Jersey. First of all, shout out for a sold out event, ladies. Well done.
Yay!
Well done. It just speaks to the thirst of women coming together. And I love that that is really part of your premise, is that we realize that there are a lot more, although I always think we need more conversations about perimenopause and menopause and postmenopause. But you have come together to create a space in New Jersey, greater New Jersey, local, regional, where you're creating resources, information, women right in your own backyard. Is that right, Allison? I'll let you lead there.
Yeah. Thanks, Julie. Yes, the 3 of us came together because we saw a need for all of this information to keep this conversation going, but to keep it to make it accessible to women within our own community. You know, there's so much information, and this is and it's so great. There's so much information. The conversation about menopause is everywhere, but sometimes it's really hard. So you go on and you're on the Instagram and you're reading the books, and then you're like, okay, well, what am I going to do here in suburban New York or in Illinois or in Indiana or wherever I'm going to be? So we wanted to pull something together where we could have experts side by side, national experts who will sit side by side with local and regional experts to help our neighbors and our sisters and our community members help forge a path through this transition.
I love it so much. And you've got some of my favorite docs and friends, Dr. Sharon Malone, Dr. Somi Javed, on. And it's going to be a fantastic day. So maybe you guys will decide to live stream it. I don't know, because it's going to be all together, or at least the recording. Huh?
Conversations are ongoing with that.
Fair enough. So April, you are now on the board of Let's Talk Menopause. Is that right? And you also kind of got involved in this space because you started a Facebook group around perimenopause. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. It all started with my own personal journey, which of course exploded during the pandemic. I mean, along with everything else. So I was just really frustrated because I kept trying to get answers. At the time, I, didn't feel like any hormone replacement therapy was an option, trying to figure out what kind of doctors to see. There was just, and it was an overwhelming amount of information, which in some cases was misinformation. And I kept seeing a lot of people in a local moms group complaining and venting about all of their symptoms and the things they were going through. And, the question kept coming up, like, why isn't there a group for us just to talk about this? And so I finally one day was like, well, let me just start a group so we can start talking about it. And 3 years later, we actually just hit 1,000 members today. So, I mean, it was like a little milestone for this event.
Yeah.
With My journey, I see Allison as a for personal training, and she and I were talking a lot about it, and I know Stacey and Allison were talking, and so that's how we all merged together and realized there was a need that we could fulfill.
Really good. I love that. I love that, as women, when we have a problem, we just take action and we do something about it. There's so many things we can do about it. I always say once we know about this conversation, it's all of our responsibility to at least plus one it. And that could just mean as something as simple as having it with your bestie or your friend or your neighbor who no one's ever spoken to her about menopause, or your own daughter, or, just one other person. And then sometimes we decide to start a Facebook group, and sometimes we decide to invent a bar. Like, you just pick your adventure in this.
That's right. Yes.
I love that there's space for all these things to be created. And so, Stacey, you are an expert in pelvic health. Tell us about that, because we
Yes.
know how important that is during all the stages of the
Yeah.
pause.
And if you would have asked me about 7 years ago, what I was passionate about was actually postpartum. I had my daughter at 45 years old,
Mm,
and then 2 years later, thrown into perimenopause, which ha-
like,
your body just doesn't understand. And so I was, after being a pelvic health therapist for over 20 years at that point, I was like, wait a second, there's this whole other aspect that we're not dealing with. And of course, a lot of the OBGYNs are very dismissive about it. Oh, you're
mm,
not there yet. You
mm,
just had a baby. I was like, but I'm here.
right,
And
right,
so from a pelvic health perspective, this has completely changed the way I
mm,
practice, empowering women to be able to understand that we should be doing a lot of things early on to help prevent pelvic floor dysfunction later on. And
yeah.
that's like the big conversation that we're having at this conference, too.
I love that. And I always say, like, for women like you who have had a baby in your 40s, and then you're slipping right up in the edge of
Right
perimenopause,
there.
that is just like a pile-on of all the things, and not getting support,
Hmm.
acknowledgement by your doctor. That's so hard. OBs are just so focused on, often, and that's where their training is. Let's get those babies out, which, thank you. I had three of them. But after that, we're just spinning around lost. And especially when those two worlds collide, that's a lot. So, but I
Yeah.
also said that gave you the impetus to lean in and help other women. So
And
that's really cool.
there's a lot of women having babies later on.
Right.
So if we think about menopause starting in our late 30s almost, right? Going
Right.
on, it's a conversation that needs to be had, that things are
Yeah.
changing.
I love
Plus
that.
one to that.
Especially, what's that? What did you say,
I
April?
said plus one to that. The
Yeah.
having babies later and pushing right up against perimenopause. It's all happening at the
All,
same time.
It's,
Yes.
all at the
yeah. And
same
if you're
time.
birth control and then you're confused about that, that's just a whole other
Yeah.
layer. But
Yeah.
if we work on our bodies and our fitness, I know that goes a long way, right, Allison? That's your jam over there. Tell us
I mean,
about that.
absolutely. I've been working with women on their strength and fitness for the last 10 years. And a lot of my clients have been with me for that whole time. So together I've been through the postpartum stuff for a while, just like Stacey. I was like, I love working with pregnant women. I love, right, when they're first coming back to the gym. And now all of a sudden we're dealing with things like half of my clients have shoulder pain. And I'm like,
Right?
what is going on?
Right.
Exactly. And it's so important. And we can sit here now because we have knowledge and we're deep into this, and we can sit here and say it's so important to take care of these things at an early point in your life. But that said, you can still, even if you haven't done anything and you're 48 years old or 54 years old and you haven't really been an exerciser, if you've never taken care of your pelvic health, or you've never talked to a friend or your bestie about menopause, it's never too late to start. It's never too late to start moving your body. I mean, from my perspective, if we're going to focus specifically on the body, it's never too late to start a routine that that can become part of your lifestyle, because really that's what it needs to be. It needs to be a lifestyle. It can't be something on the to-do list. It needs to be a part of your life in order for it to work, in order for you to stay strong, to stay mobile, to resist fractures, all the
Right.
kinds of things that are going to come with a good strength and fitness regimen.
That's so important. I love that you say it needs to be part of our lifestyle, not a to-do. Because when it's a to-do, it becomes a to-don't, often. And so just working it into the lifestyle. I know for me, I love fitness, but I still struggle with consistency. So
So do
that's
I.
a great way to
We
frame
all
it. You
do.
do, okay.
I'm a
Yes,
fitness
another
coach.
plus one there. Another plus
Thank you. I
one.
was feeling alone here,
You're not alone.
no, just me. Especially when you know better, like that just makes it so much worse. Like, oh,
No.
but
I know.
it's an everyday struggle. So ladies, when you came together and decided to put together this event, what was your mission, hopes, dreams, and goals for the event? And how do you hope women feel after they leave?
I think our mission overall was just to get as much education out there to people just like us as possible, helping the women in our own community, and help kind of destigmatize aging. That's a really big piece of this, and not being afraid to be vocal about it, talking about it, making sure the conversation is natural and normal for everybody to be discussing, because it's not something that everybody is discussing. And you still see plenty of women saying, that's not, that's private. I don't want to talk about that. Or that's not something women should be
That's what I
talking
was going to
about. Absolutely
ask you.
not.
Did you notice that in your region? Depending, I'm on, the West Coast where we just talk about everything, like rah,
Right.
rah, rah, we don't care, right? But, there's other pockets of the country where they don't want to talk. And I shouldn't say that. Even my own best friend, one of my best friends was like, why do you need to call MenoWell menopause? Can you just call it something else? So I shouldn't even say it's not just a California thing, but I think, different pockets want to talk more comfortable or not comfortable. And what did you notice then? April, was it in the group or locally? Were women comfortable talking about it?
In the group, which was a safe space, it's private, so they can feel free to share with people who are going through the same thing. It was quiet at first, and I think over time realized that this was a place where they could really speak their mind. I actually don't give people an opportunity to shy away from it, because I am very open about it. So I have not encountered people who aren't willing to discuss once I open it up. I find a lot of people willing to talk about it and like, oh my gosh, me too, really? And I have seen a lot more of that than people not wanting to. Where I do see that happening is when articles come out, or one of our favorite Instagram, celeb doctors is talking about it and people are commenting. That's where I see a lot of that, privacy and feeling embarrassed about discussing it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we're all
There's a
changing.
if I can answer that too, I was just actually having a conversation. I have the women that I work with range in age from sort of early 30s to late 70s, and there's a real there's a generational thing there as well. Like when I started talking with one of I have a client who is I think she's 78 now, and she was, raised in a very traditional religious household, and I'm very open with her about her body in ways I think that she probably has never heard. And I think there is this, but this is a plus one situation, because as soon as I start talking about something, she feels safe talking with me about it. And so then we start talking about, oh yeah, I remember when X, Y, and Z, or today I was even like, did you ever even talk to your mother about menopause? Because I told her, she knows what I'm doing. And so it varies. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that us being on the East Coast near New York City is probably very similar to you, that, we're loud and we talk about a lot of things.
Yeah.
I hope that the conversation can get, can come from both sides, and that people can start having more discussions like the ones that we're going to have on January 10th, like on January 12th, and like the one that we're having right here, the one we have in the group, in April's group, at Stacey's office, in my gym. I hope we can keep having those, across the country.
I love that
I see somebody.
Go ahead, April.
I was just going to say, I see somebody's commenting about how easy it is to have conversations about erectile dysfunction, and that's so true. It's just very easy. There are commercials.
Yeah. Millions of commercials for ED.
Crazy.
I know. Can you imagine somebody having a commercial for a dry vagina?
Right. No, not ever. It's coming.
And in my wheelhouse,
it is
I
coming.
turn it off.
It's coming. But it'll be a man that produced it, just saying, for his own benefit. I see that. I see Roxanne scooting down here. Thanks for shouting that out, April. And so, Stacey, how about you? What are you hoping for with the event?
So, in my wheelhouse, we talk about sex and vaginal, rectal, anything gets talked about. And I think for me, I want to make sure that people are getting the correct information. With Instagram, right? You can pull up, now that we literally talk about menopause, what shows up on our feed, right? Like all these menopause, everything. And I
Yeah.
think people are still really confused as to what I don't call it evidence-based because we just don't have as much research as we need to, but I call it evidence-informed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and I think that's what the physicians right now are trying to grasp. I was hoping we'd
Mm-hmm.
have more physicians or nurse practitioners show up to our conference. I was actually like, kind of keeping my fingers crossed that that would happen. But really, it's just making sure that participants kind of go away with a plan, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
they come up with like, okay, now what's my next action plan? Like pain with intercourse shouldn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like it shouldn't be part of it aging.
Mm-hmm.
Urinary incontinence shouldn't happen. It should
Right.
not be a part of aging.
Does not
So
have
what
to
do I
be.
do? Who do I
Yeah.
see? What do I go on? What's right for me? One of the things we were hoping for that we got was to have a breast oncologist, a medical oncologist there, because what's the first thing they ask is,
Right.
if I go on vaginal estrogen, am I going to get breast cancer?
Right.
Or
For
I have a breast
any
cancer
estrogen,
history,
any
or
HRT.
any
Right, right,
estrogen, right?
exactly.
So we want to make sure that they're getting their questions answered
Yeah.
and that they're leaving there with like a full understanding of, hey, I have my plan now. I know what's next.
Mm-hmm.
Really good. I love
Yeah,
that. And I get to go to a lot of events, and there will be more nurse practitioners and doctors in the
I
audience
hope
than you
so.
think. There
I
always
hope
is,
so.
right? They're quiet, and then they start
Hmm.
raising their hand, which is such a good thing. But to be able to, and I love that you've done the homework, and probably April through your community. And somebody asked, can I get April's info on social media, which is Not Your
Yes,
Mother's Menopause NJ, right?
correct. Yeah,
Um,
that's a Facebook group, and it's an invitation, and I can find them and invite them in.
okay, you can probably DM her.
It's
What's
very
that?
active, and people should come into that group. It's an amazing group that April has built that we've that they're and it's active. A lot of these groups
Very
sometimes,
active. Yes.
but there's stuff going on in there. So there's resource sharing, just venting, all the things.
All the
So
things. So hop in. We're going to give the URL too, but we were talking about, in the audience, I love that you guys have really been thoughtful about bringing in experts to address all the concerns that women are going to have, because we see the trends, right? We know that breast cancer is a worry. Should I take, what is HRT? What is the best kind if I decide? Am I too early? Am I too late? Like all of the things related to that. So all your awesome docs and experts that you have speaking will be able to nail that. And if you just want to have some fun, Sharon Malone's going to share her playlist also. That is in her book. If you have not read her book, Grown Woman Talk,
right.
that
Read it from
has
cover to
Yes.
cover.
cover to
I know.
cover.
Yes.
So there's a
I
Spotify
know.
playlist with every chapter, which that's why I love Sharon. Like
She's so fun.
that's the best, the best,
Yeah.
the best.
I mean, having somebody like Sharon, who is so big on a national scale, be able to sit on a stage with me and with other practitioners from the New York City area, with Stacey from our local area, is an amazing experience, right? So our neighbors, our sisters, our friends are going to be able to have the experience of hearing from Sharon, or hearing from Jennifer Weiss Wolf, of hearing from Dr. Somi, and knowing then they can turn around and they can schedule an appointment with me, or with the acupuncturist, or with the nutritionist and the functional nutritionist, or the OBGYN on the panel, who is open to discussing this with them in their
That's so
community.
great. So attendees will be able to schedule appointments right there.
Well, they'll
They'll be
That's
able
a
to
good
get
idea, though,
that
Allison.
is a
they
good
can call
idea.
That
us.
is a good idea to have people, because that is probably the biggest challenge. When women come to events and they're super excited to take action on their
Mm-hmm.
menopausal health, but then they're like, "Woo, where do I go? What do I do?"
It's
So
actually a
big
good
hint.
idea.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
thinking,
that's got the wheels
I'm like,
turning
Julie, I
right
think we just
now.
came
How
up
do
with
we
something.
do this?
I think you might come up with something.
Right? Make sure you have those iPads ready, somebody there ready to book
QR
appointments,
codes in place. Yes.
Yes, for sure, for sure. I love it. Okay, so it's sold out. How are we, I'm just going to keep telling you, recording would be
90
so,
people on the wait list.
wow.
So definitely, if you're interested, you should put your name. If you're in the New York City, New Jersey area, and you're interested in attending, you should definitely put your name on the wait list. We are,
Or put your name on the wait list completely if we do decide to stream. It's a
right.
big
That's what I'm saying. It's
endeavor.
like nothing. We are exploring lots of options. We're
Every
entrepreneurs.
option right
We're
now.
trying to figure it out. I don't know. That's all I think.
With
All
I don't want
things
to.
are solvable. That's what I will say.
That's how
One
I
part
feel.
out of the other.
We
Yeah.
started
true.
this as three women sitting in a conference room thinking that we were going to host this little lunch and learn. We're
Well, it is
gonna be
a little lunch and learn that's gotten into a big lunch and learn, right?
Yes.
That's the power of women, right? We come together, we have an idea, we execute, and I always say you have to leave room for the universe because you just never know what's gonna come of it. Really, really exciting. You just have to take
So
action.
true.
Okay,
Yes.
so did you guys bring any tips that you want to share from your areas or as a collective? And then we can tell people how they can find more of all of your goodness. So Allison, I
Yeah.
see you nodding like that. Go ahead, Allison, you
You
start.
want me to start? Because I know we all did. Because your instructions,
We
Julie, were
did.
very clear. So we did our homework. We're very good
Do
at
We're
all
we're
five
on
of
it.
all three of
We're
you
on
have
it.
5 tips, or is it a
We
collective?
did too.
We do, but we can, you
We can
just,
do quick.
I'll go quickly. I'm going to go quickly. These are my 5. This is what I share with anybody. So in my lane of strength and fitness, right? Movement, I want you to connect. I want you to connect to your body the way it is now, right? Your body, don't try and connect with your body in your 20s because that body is a different body. And that's not a bad thing.
He's gone.
Because the
Yeah.
body of the 20s has done a whole shitload of stuff to get to the body of the 40s and the 50s. You got to own that and be proud of it, okay? Sorry, am I not allowed to do that? Okay. You want to connect to your community and to your trainer or to whoever, because you can't do this. We talked about this before. You cannot do this without accountability. And accountability is key for commitment, and commitment is key for success, okay? You want to connect to how the exercise feels. No one ever says, I regret that workout. Okay. So you may be like, I don't want to go to the gym. I'm like that. I don't want to go to the gym today. But when you're done, you're like, I am so glad I went to the gym. So I want you to remember, connect from your brain into your body, how that feels, because that's going to get you back to the gym the next time. Okay. I want you to lift things, right? Lifting heavy. I'm not going to go too long because I want everybody else to talk, but lifting heavy, which is what we hear all the time, lifting heavy. Lifting heavy is different for everybody. Heavy things can be many things. Heavy things are not only the biggest dumbbell in the gym, heavy things are your body. And I'm not saying you're heavy, but body weight is a form of resistance. Gravity is a form of resistance, all of these kinds of things. So do your own workout again, hopefully with somebody's eyes to, at least if you've never done it before, to help you figure out that you're not going to hurt yourself. Because if you go straight for the 50-pound dumbbells, you're going to regret it. Move your body. So moving and lifting, 2 different things, right? I want you to move your body every day. Go for a walk. If you sit at a desk all day long doing Zooms, I want you to get up and do 10 bodyweight squats in the middle of the day. Swing your arms around like a rubber band. Just move, okay? Eat food. Don't skip meals. It's not good. Okay, don't skip your meals. When you were in 20s, you could lose weight. You skip your meals. Not now. That's not going to happen. And enjoy it, right? If the data's out there saying don't do long distance running, women shouldn't do long distance running. You like to go long distance running. Mental health is just as important as your physical health. So I want you to go do your run, right?
Yes,
Right?
that's right.
Right?
Yes,
So
another plus one
you
to
have
that.
to enjoy it.
Yes.
You have to enjoy it. Okay.
Yes.
And just because the statistics say something is right, if sprinting makes you throw up, don't sprint. Okay.
Okay, you're my new favorite trainer.
I'm not gonna make you throw
Not about.
up.
I love it. That's so good. Okay, so obviously
Good
when
talking.
you listen to this recording, you need to go back and just slow that down a little bit so you can write down everything that Allison
I
just
was like,
said. That's some good gold there. I just want
trainer.
to make sure we're going to cut it into a real Allison, so it'll be probably perfect, like under 1 minute. So no, we got you. Okay, April, how about you?
Great. The first one is be your own health advocate. That is where it has to start. You have to understand what your needs are. You have to be able to evaluate your symptoms. You need to be able to do your own research, knowing what you want when you go into that doctor's office, and make sure that you're getting what you need or find somebody else.
Yeah.
Building a supportive community. which is what we've done here and what we're going to continue to try to enforce and encourage. Having those people around you that understand what you're going through. And it's not necessarily all women who are going through the exact same thing. It's your family, it's your best friends, it's the people that you encounter every day, it's your coworkers. My coworkers hear all the time about when I'm going through a hot flash or when I have brain fog and can't remember the word as I'm sitting there looking at somebody.
I love it.
It just,
yes, call
being
it out.
open and transparent, that's all part of building your community. Prioritizing your health screenings. Your health screenings change as you get older, making sure that you're focused on bone density and cardiovascular health, and making sure that you are still getting your physicals every single year on top of all of that. Creating a holistic wellness strategy. And this goes beyond, we all know that exercise and nutrition is very important, but we also need to make sure that we're keeping in mind our mental health. Extremely important. And that's actually where my journey started, was focusing on my mental health and what I could do about that. It also might mean exploring some alternate options for medication or for, practitioners. Maybe it's acupuncture, maybe it's massage, those sorts of things. And then the last one, and admittedly, I'm still working on this one, acceptance and grace. As Allison said, we're not our 20-year-old body anymore. Our body is changing. We're going through a whole host of things, and really accept where you are in this journey and have the faith that you'll get through it and you'll get on the other side of it. Again, still in the middle of trying to, conquer that particular goal, but it's a journey, and we just need to accept where we are in it.
Beautiful. I love it. Wow. The two of you. Okay. That's a beautiful juxtaposition. Okay. Stacey, pelvic
Boy,
health
this is
pro.
going to be a
Here we
hard
go.
to follow. Okay, so I'm kind of going to add on to all of this. The number one thing is expect the unexpected. When it comes to your body, things are going to change, just like April just said, just like Allison just said. And we need to sort of be prepared for it, right? Like, it's okay to know it's coming. There are some people, just like the people that give birth and they have no issues, they just glide right into postpartum. I think there are going to be people that do the same thing through their menopause transition, right? But expect the unexpected. Sex should never be painful. I'll say it again. Sex
That.
should never be
Right.
painful. And if it is, you need the help, right? So it could be a pelvic floor issue, it could be a tissue issue. And that leads me into my favorite new thing, which is vaginal estrogen.
I knew you were going to
I
say that.
can't
Every
I can't
midlife
say it
woman's best
enough.
friend. Yes.
And if you're feeling dryness, if you're feeling pain, if you're starting to feel urinary incontinence, that's not normal. And you need to ask for it. And I can't tell you, here in New Jersey, I have to beg physicians to be able to give a 41-year-old woman who might be not fully in perimenopause, but probably is, vaginal estrogen, because they have pain with intercourse. And so vaginal estrogen, I think we should be on it lifelong.
Yes.
Like,
You put
just
it on your
keep
face
that
too.
Yes.
area
You just do that
going.
as well. So yeah.
There
Yeah,
was one
yeah.
statistic that women lose their labia minora, and like literally at 50 it's gone because the tissue has just disintegrated. Okay.
You can just
Lovely.
stop right
Yeah.
there. I mean, come on.
Okay.
Ah,
I think this is over.
vaginal estrogen. Vaginal estrogen. Okay. When it comes to urinary symptoms, the vaginal estrogen is also going to help. But urinary frequency isn't normal. I can't tell you how many times I sit at a restaurant and friends are like, I'm going to the bathroom. And then halfway through dinner, they're going to the bathroom. And then after, I'm like, okay, so you are not drinking enough to be going this often. So you, as a woman going through a transition, should be able to sit through the movie Titanic, 3 hours and a lot of running water. Okay, that's a normal, healthy bladder. Okay, which leads me to the next is water. Water. We need to hydrate. Our tissues need water, 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 water. I can't say that enough. And my last, and I think Tara's on here, who's a functional nutritionist in our town and will also be participating in our event, fiber.
Yes.
Because as
Sure.
much as I deal with urinary symptoms, I also deal with chronic
Yes.
constipation, which I'll say again is not normal and also leads to urinary symptoms. So our bodily functions need to feel good and
I
work.
love that
So
you said
fiber,
fiber. Yes, yes, yes.
fiber,
You know,
Yes.
lead with
we're all
fiber.
about the fiber, right? We lead with
Yes,
fiber and protein.
yes,
It, our
yes.
gut health, it just leads the way. And, you know, oh,
Yeah,
it's so, so important.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
love it. Oh, I knew you guys would have some great tips. I mean, it just shows how amazing the conference is going to be, this symposium and brunch, because with all of your POVs leaned into this, we've got everything covered here. Really good. Okay, last question. Otherwise, we could just go on and on and
I
on because I love all of
know.
your brilliance. What does MenoWell, that term, not just, you know, the name of our brand, but MenoWell, what does that mean to you? April, go ahead.
I think it goes back to a little bit of my last point, which is this acceptance and grace around aging and the stigma around it, and removing that and feeling wonderful and healthy and happy as a woman in whatever stage of life you are, but especially in that last third, which is going to be the most productive. You know, I think of productive and happy and healthy when I think of MenoWell.
Beautiful.
Very nice.
Love that. Love, love, love. Okay, Stacey, how about you?
Ah, wellness during the transition. Like, let's keep it going. There is no, listen, 50 is the new 30. Okay. So we need to
That's
keep
what it does.
ourselves
Okay, so
healthy.
60 is the new 40. Is that what you're
Yes,
saying?
that's right. That's
We're just
right.
gonna be 30 forever.
Well, I don't know. 40 is
It's,
pretty good. Just wait and see. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
true.
yeah. Okay.
I just think of it adding as the wellness aspect of this, because we are well, we are healthy, we are vibrant, we are all of that. So I don't
I
know.
love
That's
it.
what it
Yeah.
means to me.
Super good. Okay, my friend Allison, bring us home. What does MenoWell mean to you?
Well, there's so many things, and you know, my co-founders, my friends, Stacey and April, always have all the words, you know, and for me, MenoWell is really about feeling well inside and outside, right? And that, like, what we're doing, how you're training your body to carry you through this last third.
Mm.
I don't like to say last third, but
I
through
know. I
this
Yeah.
felt
next
the last third, the
third,
next third. That's good.
through
The
this
Next.
next
part, you know,
half.
because who knows what happens, but you
A
know,
really
just
long third. That's what I'm shooting for,
it
you
really,
know?
hopefully it'll be a really long third, and that you can keep using your body well, right? Like that menopause, you're going to get through this transition. You're going to get through it well. You're going to get through it strong. You're going to get through it mobile and active, and you know, make sure you can get up and down off the ground, and make sure you're moving, and you don't, you know, I don't know, like if you have an ache and a pain, that's okay too, but it doesn't, you know, like you shouldn't be in constant pain, but we are aging. We are, hopefully, if you've been active through your life, things are going to wear down a little bit, and you are going to notice that you are. And again, this goes back to my first part about, like, remember, it's not the same body. Like, your body has been used,
Right?
you know, and
Right.
whether or not you've had children or whatever kind of life you've led up to your 50s, you know, honor that, because your body isn't, I mean, our bodies, we have one life and one amazing, amazing body. So getting through the menopause transition in that well is how I think of MenoWell.
I love it. You guys are all awesome. I'm sad I'm
Don't
not
you,
going to
Julie?
be
Thank
there,
you.
but I'm going to be there
Your bars are going to be
energetically.
there.
The bars are going to be
Bars will be
representing
there. Yes.
all the fun things with the fiber, with the protein, with the grace, with the love, with the community, all
Yes.
wrapped up in just, you know, in the bar itself. But
More
I
double
just want
chocolate
to,
brownie.
and double chocolate, I know. Allison's like double chocolate brown. Yes, yes, yes. Um, and by the way, I don't know, you know, we're doing 2 for 1. I have my boxes stacked up here. So BOGO for
Oh, that's good.
Black Friday. And
Oh.
it's going to be the whole week starting on the 21st. So we're just in alignment with
I'll post that. I'll share that.
Amazon on our site. But ladies, the event is going to be fantastic. I cannot wait to watch the recording. I'm just going to keep saying that. And I
You don't mean the edited recording.
I know. Just let it rip. I don't
Right.
forget the edit. Just go. Just go. It'll be perfectly imperfect, just like midlife perimenopause to post.
That's
I
right.
like that.
Yeah.
I just want to thank you in advance from your community and the broader perimenopause to post community for all you're doing, your effort, for answering the call, the Shero's journey, because often we hear the whispers of something to do, but it might feel like too much or not enough time or cost too much or not enough energy. But the three of you have come together with all of your superpowers to produce something super fantastic. So thank you in advance. I know you guys are just gonna shoot it out of the park. So excellent.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us. This is wonderful.
Super glad. Come back again. I want to hear how it went afterwards, although I'll be watching the recording. And can't wait. Hopefully we'll con you into do another one a little bit later in the year for 2020.
2.0.
2.0.
We're doing another one. I don't know when it's going to be, but I'm like, I have to convince these two that they don't have a life anymore.
It's just not your mother's menopause NJ all the time, everywhere. So speaking of that, how can women find you, get on the waiting list, follow, all the things? I don't know who wants to take that. Go ahead.
Allison.
Let's go to the website. So notyourmothersmenopausenj.com is the website. If you click on tickets, you can get on the waiting list. There's a little button on the bottom that says, sorry, we're sold out, join the wait list. Click on that, you get on the waiting list. On Facebook, April, if you go to Facebook and you search, is it Not Your Mother's Menopause NJ or just Not Your Mother's Menopause?
Not Your Mother's Menopause on Facebook.
Okay, so search for that on Facebook. We're on Instagram also. April's dialed in from our Not Your Mother's Menopause _ in Instagram address. I guess they're all in this, and then you can follow me at my name, Allison Kalsched. Stace.
I'm 5.pt on Instagram and 5.pt.com. That's my my company, which we have an office in the city and in New Jersey. And yeah.
Good. Follow, book an appointment, do all the things, get on the wait list, for goodness sakes. Maybe you guys should just move it to another place and double the size. I'm just saying.
Oh my God.
How many more people can you fit?
We
working on it.
Kidding. No, go do your magic, and I can't wait to hear about it on the other side. Thank you so much, and thanks everybody for being here with us today. All right, everybody, be well. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.